In today's episode, we're looking at South African conservationists whose dedication to wildlife protection ended tragically. From a researcher who ventured too close to his subjects, to an officer whose routine equipment retrieval turned deadly. But first, we start with Dr. Nomsa Mthembu, where overconfidence in the wilderness proved fatal. It was March 15, 2014, when the unforgiving wilderness of the Kagalagadi Transfrontier Park claimed the life of one of South Africa's most experienced wildlife conservationists. The vast expanse of the Northern Cape's semi-arid landscape stretched endlessly under a moonless sky, where acacia trees cast skeletal shadows across the red sand dunes. Dr. Nomsa Mthembu, a 42-year-old wildlife conservation biologist, had arrived at the remote research station 3 days earlier to conduct a critical nocturnal survey of lion populations. The drought had been particularly severe that season, lasting 8 months and forcing predators to alter their hunting patterns and territorial boundaries. Mthembu, who had dedicated 18 years of her career to WWF South Africa, specialized in large carnivore conservation and had earned a reputation for her methodical approach to fieldwork. Her current research focused on understanding how lion prides adapted their hunting strategies during prolonged dry periods, data that would prove essential for developing effective conservation strategies. The research station, located 15 kilometers from the nearest ranger post, served as her base of operations for the 2-week study period. African lions are apex predators that have evolved over millions of years to become perfectly adapted killing machines. Adult females typically weigh between 120 and 180 kilograms, while their powerful jaws can exert a bite force of over 650 pounds per square inch. These social cats hunt cooperatively in coordinated attacks, using their exceptional night vision and acute hearing to locate prey in complete darkness. Lions can reach speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour in short bursts and possess retractable claws that can grow up to 38 millimeters in length. Their hunting strategy involves surrounding prey from multiple angles, with the pride working together to bring down animals much larger than themselves. At approximately 10:30 p.m., Mthembu's research vehicle suffered a catastrophic engine failure when the cooling system malfunctioned, causing the engine to seize completely. Stranded 2 kilometers from the research station with no radio signal and a dead satellite phone battery, she faced a critical decision. Rather than waiting until dawn for potential rescue, Mthembu chose to walk back to the station, carrying only a flashlight and pepper spray. The game trail she followed wound through dense thorn brush and open grassland, prime lion territory during nighttime hours. After covering 800 meters, her flashlight illuminated fresh lion tracks in the sand, but her years of successful field work have bred a dangerous overconfidence. She continued forward, unaware that a pride of 7 lions was returning from an unsuccessful hunt 200 meters away. The lions detected her scent immediately, their sensitive noses picking up human odor carried on the night breeze. Moving with practiced silence, the pride began stalking her through the darkness, positioning themselves strategically around her path. When Mthembu stopped to check her GPS coordinates, the lions had completely surrounded her position. The alpha male launched the initial attack from behind, her 140-kilogram body slamming into Mthembu's back with tremendous force. The lioness's claws raked across her spine, puncturing both lungs and sending her crashing to the ground. Within seconds, 3 more lions joined the assault from different directions. A second lion clamped her powerful jaws around Mthembu's left thigh, her canine teeth crushing the femur bone with an audible crack. The third lion pounced onto her torso, its full weight compressing her rib cage and fracturing multiple ribs. A fourth lion seized her right arm, its teeth penetrating muscle and bone while violently shaking its head. The remaining 2 lions attacked her legs and lower torso simultaneously, their claws tearing through flesh and muscle tissue. The alpha female then repositioned herself and delivered the fatal bite to Mthembu's throat, her canine teeth severing the jugular vein and crushing the windpipe. All 7 lions participated in the prolonged MAULED, their coordinated attack lasting exactly 4 minutes. Mthembu died from massive blood loss and respiratory failure as her punctured lungs filled with blood. Park rangers discovered Mthembu's remains the following morning, after she failed to report her evening observations. The investigation revealed that the pride had been displaced from their usual territory due to drought conditions, forcing them into areas typically considered safe for researchers. Her death prompted immediate changes to WWF field safety protocols, requiring all researchers to travel in pairs and carry emergency beacons. The conservation community mourned the loss of one of their most dedicated advocates for African wildlife protection. Dr. Nomsa Mthembu's death showed how overconfidence proves fatal in the lion's country. For Sifo Dlamini, it wasn't the darkness of night that would claim him, but the bright daylight of Kruger National Park, where his ambitious research would lead him one step too close. It was August 7, 2015 in the remote Satara region of Kruger National Park in Mpumalanga. The golden savanna stretched endlessly under the scorching afternoon sun, dotted with scattered acacia trees and ancient termite mounds that rose like monuments from the parched earth. The air shimmered with heat waves, and the only sounds were the distant calls of ground hornbills and the rustle of dry grass and the occasional breeze. 26-year-old Sifo Dlamini crouched inside his makeshift observation blind, sweat beading on his forehead as he adjusted his sophisticated camera equipment. The canvas shelter provided minimal relief from the oppressive heat, but Dlamini remained focused on his mission. As a wildlife conservation researcher for the Endangered Wildlife Trust, Dlamini had dedicated his career to studying lion behavior and human-wildlife conflict mitigation. His ambitious nature and willingness to push research boundaries had earned him recognition among his peers, but also growing concern from senior researchers who worried about his increasingly risky field methods. Colleagues often warned him about getting too close to his subjects, but Dlamini believed that groundbreaking research required calculated risks. For 2 months, Dlamini had been meticulously tracking a mixed pride consisting of 4 lionesses and 1 dominant male, documenting their territorial patterns, hunting strategies, and feeding behaviors. This comprehensive data would contribute to developing new conservation management strategies for South Africa's rapidly dwindling lion populations. The pride had established their territory near a seasonal waterhole, making them ideal subjects for his behavioral study. Dlamini had chosen this particular location because the open terrain provided excellent visibility, while scattered vegetation offered natural camouflage for his research blind. This area was known for high predator activity, which made it perfect for his research, but inherently dangerous for human presence. African lions are apex predators that hunt cooperatively in coordinated groups called prides. Adult females typically weigh between 120 and 140 kilograms, while males can reach 190 kilograms of pure muscle and bone. Their powerful jaws generate bite forces exceeding 650 pounds per square inch, easily capable of crushing bones and severing major arteries with a single bite. Lionesses possess exceptional hearing abilities and can detect sounds from over a kilometer away, while their acute sense of smell allows them to track scents across vast distances, even in challenging wind conditions. When threatened or protecting territory, the pride attacks in synchronized formations, with each member targeting different parts of the body to overwhelm prey or perceived threats through coordinated violence. Dlamini had constructed his ground-level observation blind 40 meters from where he initially planned to place monitoring bait. However, seeing better photographic angles and clear behavioral documentation, he made the fatal decision to position a fresh impala carcass only 25 meters from his concealed position. This distance violated established conservation protocols that required a minimum 15-meter distance between researchers and bait sites. As the afternoon progressed, The wind shifted direction dramatically, carrying his concentrated human scent directly toward the approaching pride. The 5 lions detected the unusual human odor but continued advancing toward the bait in their characteristic hunting formation. The alpha female led the group, her massive frame moving with predatory grace across the savanna. When Dlamini shifted inside the blind to adjust his camera settings for better lighting, the canvas fabric rustled loudly in the still air. The sound carried clearly across the open terrain, immediately alerting the pride to his presence. The alpha female pinpointed the sound source within seconds and signaled the other pride members through subtle body language and low growls. All 5 lions charged simultaneously from different angles, their coordinated attack overwhelming Dlamini's defensive position with terrifying efficiency. The lead lion crashed through the camouflage netting with devastating force, her 140-kilogram body collapsing the entire blind structure on top of the trapped researcher. Canvas and metal poles pinned Dlamini beneath the wreckage as the pride converged on his position with lethal intent. The alpha female bit through the fabric and clamped her massive jaws around Dlamini's left shoulder, her 4-inch canine teeth penetrating deep into muscle tissue and scraping against bone. A second lioness attacked his legs with savage intensity, her powerful bite crushing his femur while her razor-sharp claws raked across his thighs, shredding flesh and severing tendons. The third lioness mauled his torso mercilessly, her teeth puncturing his abdomen and causing severe internal bleeding as organs were damaged. The fourth lioness joined the coordinated assault, biting down on both arms while her claws shredded his forearms to the bone, exposing the white bone beneath torn flesh. The dominant male lion delivered the most devastating attack, using his full 180-kilogram body weight to crush Dlamini's chest cavity. The combined force broke multiple ribs and punctured both lungs, causing them to collapse as air escaped into his chest cavity. The alpha female's bite severed Dlamini's subclavian artery, causing massive hemorrhaging as blood poured from the wound and soaked into the sandy ground. The other lions continued their relentless attack, each bite and claw strike causing additional trauma to vital organs and major blood vessels. The coordinated mauling lasted 3 agonizing minutes before Dlamini succumbed to cardiac arrest and catastrophic blood loss from multiple lion attacks. Park rangers discovered Dlamini's remains the following morning after he failed to report for his scheduled radio check-in. The South African National Parks Authority launched an immediate investigation into the incident, reviewing research protocols and safety procedures. Dlamini's family released a statement expressing their profound grief while emphasizing his unwavering dedication to wildlife conservation. The Endangered Wildlife Trust implemented stricter field research guidelines following the incident. Less than a year after Sipho Dlamini's tragedy, Dr. Peter Van Zyl was working with lions in Madikwe Game Reserve. For Van Zyl, it wasn't research from a distance, but direct field work that would prove one step too far. It was June 22, 2016, when Dr. Peter Van Zyl arrived at the remote eastern section of Madikwe Game Reserve in South Africa's northwest province. The morning sun cast long shadows across the acacia-dotted savanna as his conservation vehicle navigated the dusty tracks. Van Zyl, a 38-year-old senior conservation specialist with Panthera, had dedicated 12 years to lion conservation work across southern Africa. His reputation for meticulous field procedures was matched only by his occasional overconfidence when working with apex predators. Accompanying him was Thandiwe Botha, a 29-year-old conservation researcher tasked with recording vital data for their ongoing lion health assessment program. The pair had been tracking a pride of 6 lions for 3 days as part of a comprehensive population management study. Their target was the alpha female, a powerful lioness who needed a new GPS collar for long-term monitoring. The Pride had been resting near a seasonal waterhole, providing the perfect opportunity for the darting procedure. Von Ziel positioned their vehicle 30 meters from the Pride, checking his tranquilizer rifle with practiced efficiency. The morning air was still, ideal conditions for accurate dart placement. Botha prepared her data sheets while Von Ziel loaded the dart with the calculated sedative dose. The other 5 Pride members lounged lazily in the shade, seemingly unbothered by the vehicle's presence. African lions are apex predators that live in complex social structures called prides, typically consisting of related females, their cubs, and one or more dominant males. These magnificent cats can weigh up to 190 kilograms and possess crushing bite forces exceeding 650 pounds per square inch. Lions are highly territorial and protective of their pride members, with coordinated group responses to threats being a fundamental survival behavior. Von Ziel took careful aim at the alpha female shoulder muscle, the optimal target zone for tranquilizer delivery. The dart struck perfectly, and the lioness barely flinched before continuing her grooming routine. Within minutes, she stood and walked approximately 50 meters before settling down near a termite mound. Von Ziel and Botha waited the standard 15-minute protocol period, watching as the lioness appeared to enter deep sedation. Unknown to Von Ziel, the dart's plunger mechanism had jammed during impact, delivering only 30% of the intended sedative dose. The lioness remained partially conscious, her nervous system fighting the incomplete chemical suppression. Von Ziel gathered his collar equipment and approached on foot, confident in his assessment of her sedated state. As he knelt beside the seemingly unconscious lioness to attach the GPS collar, she suddenly lifted her massive head. Von Ziel instinctively jumped backward but stumbled over his equipment bag, falling heavily onto the ground. The partially sedated lioness lunged forward with surprising speed, her powerful jaws clamping around his upper thigh. Her distress vocalizations immediately alerted the 5 other Pride members resting 40 meters away. The Pride's coordinated response was swift and devastating. All 5 lions charged toward the commotion, their protective instincts fully activated. The first male lion struck Von Ziel's torso with tremendous force, knocking him flat while the alpha female maintained her crushing grip on his leg. The impact fractured multiple ribs, puncturing his lung cavity. The second lioness attacked his arms, her canine teeth penetrating deep into muscle tissue and severing major blood vessels. The third lion focused on his back, powerful claws raking across his spine, while massive jaws crushed vertebrae. The 4th and 5th Pride members joined the coordinated assault, their combined weight exceeding 800 kilograms, pressing down on Von Ziel's body. The original darted lioness, still fighting the partial sedation, shifted her attack to his neck area. Her bite compressed his carotid artery while simultaneously crushing his trachea. The 6 lions worked in terrifying coordination, each maintaining their grip while others repositioned for maximum damage. Von Ziel's arterial system suffered catastrophic damage as multiple bite wounds created massive internal bleeding. Botha fired emergency flares from the vehicle, the bright projectiles exploding near the Pride. The lions continued their assault for 4 agonizing minutes before the flares finally drove them away. Von Ziel had suffered complete organ failure from blood loss, his body unable to survive the coordinated attack of 6 apex predators. The South African National Park Service launched an immediate investigation into the incident, reviewing all tranquilizer equipment and safety protocols. The Pride was relocated to a more remote section of the reserve to prevent future human-wildlife conflicts. Dr. Peter Von Ziel's death reminded all that equipment failure can be fatal when working with lion prides. For conservation manager Thobe Molefe, the danger wouldn't come from routine monitoring, but from something lurking near damaged fencing in Johannesburg's dense bush. It was November 3, 2017 when Thabo Molefe drove his conservation vehicle through the dusty roads of Pilanesberg National Park in South Africa's northwest province. The morning sun cast long shadows across the acacia-dotted landscape as he navigated towards the park's northeastern boundary. Radio chatter had alerted him to a critical breach in the conservation fencing. A fallen MAULED tree had created a 4-meter gap that threatened the integrity of the protected area. For 11 years, Molefe had served as a conservation area manager, earning respect for his swift responses to habitat emergencies and unwavering dedication to wildlife protection. The 34-year-old understood that damaged fencing posed immediate risks, allowing animals to wander into surrounding communities and potentially disrupting carefully managed conservation programs. Budget constraints had left him working alone that morning, a reality that had become increasingly common as funding for conservation efforts dwindled. Intelligence reports indicated that a pride of 5 lions had already moved through the breach during the night, making the fence repair an urgent priority to prevent further conservation complications. The damaged section bordered a critical watering source where wildlife congregated, increasing the likelihood of human-animal conflicts if left unrepaired. African lions represent apex predators perfectly adapted for coordinated hunting and territorial defense. Adult males can weigh up to 190 kilograms, while females typically reach 130 kilograms, combining to create formidable group dynamics. Their powerful jaws generate bite forces exceeding 650 pounds per square inch, capable of crushing bones and delivering fatal wounds within seconds. Lions possess exceptional hearing and can detect sounds from distances up to 8 kilometers, making them highly responsive to mechanical disturbances in their territory. Pride behavior involves sophisticated communication through vocalizations, scent marking, and coordinated movements that enable effective group hunting strategies. When threatened or defending territory, lions exhibit heightened aggression and will attack perceived intruders with lethal force. When Molefe arrived at the damaged fence line, he immediately began assessing the fallen MAULED tree, blocking the conservation boundary. He retrieved his chainsaw from the vehicle and started cutting through the massive trunk, the mechanical roar echoing across the savanna. The noise masked the approach of the lion pride that had returned through the gap after feeding and was resting in the dense brush 30 meters away. 3 lionesses and 2 males had positioned themselves in tall grass, their golden coats blending seamlessly with the dried vegetation. As Molefe shut off the chainsaw to reposition cut sections, multiple deep growls erupted behind him. He turned to see 5 lions emerging from the grass in coordinated formation, their amber eyes fixed on the perceived threat. Molefe slowly reached for his rifle, but the chainsaw had fallen across the weapon during his work. The alpha female charged first, her powerful hindquarters propelling her forward at 40 kilometers per hour. She struck Molefe in the chest with devastating force, her claws raking deep furrows across his torso. The second lioness attacked simultaneously from behind, her teeth sinking into his shoulder blade and severing muscle tissue. The first male knocked him sideways into the fence wire, the metal strands entangling his arms and preventing defensive movements. The second and third lion joined the coordinated assault, all 5 pride members participating in a synchronized attack. Their combined weight of over 700 kilograms crushed Molefe's chest cavity, fracturing multiple ribs and puncturing his lungs. The alpha female's jaws clamped around his skull, her canine teeth penetrating the temporal bone and causing massive cranial trauma. Other pride members targeted his torso, arms, and legs, their teeth and claws inflicting numerous deep lacerations and severing major blood vessels. The wire entanglement prevented Molefe from escaping or defending himself during the prolonged mauling that continued for 5 minutes. He succumbed to massive head trauma and multiple organ failure from the coordinated pack attack. park rangers discovered Molefe's body 2 hours later when he failed to respond to radio calls. The investigation revealed that conservation protocol violations had contributed to the fatal encounter, specifically the failure to conduct proper wildlife surveys before beginning mechanical work. His family released a statement emphasizing his lifelong commitment to wildlife conservation and requesting privacy during their grief. The incident prompted immediate reviews of safety procedures for conservation workers operating in predator habitats. Conservation authorities implemented mandatory two-person teams for all fence repair operations following the tragedy. The park temporarily closed the affected section to visitors while conducting comprehensive safety assessments. Thabo Molefe's death showed how quickly a coordinated pride can overwhelm even experienced conservationists when protocols fail. For Samuel Ndlovu, it wasn't a pack he would face, but a solitary giant in Kruger's wilderness. It was April 18, 2013, in the Timbavati Private Nature Reserve, Limpopo Province, when Conservation Officer Anneli Stein began what would become her final wildlife monitoring expedition. The sprawling 53,000-hectare reserve stretched across the western boundary of Kruger National Park, its golden grasslands dotted with ancient marula and leadwood trees. Morning temperatures hovered around 24 degrees Celsius as the South African autumn painted the landscape in muted earth tones. Stein, a 31-year-old wildlife conservation officer, had dedicated 8 years to protecting the reserve's diverse ecosystem. Known among colleagues for her methodical approach to field work and occasional impatience with bureaucratic delays, she possessed an intimate knowledge of the reserve's wildlife corridors and animal behavior patterns. That morning, she worked alongside conservation photographer Cobus Davies, a 35-year-old specialist documenting wildlife movement for the reserve's Corridor Planning Initiative. Their mission involved retrieving data from remote camera traps strategically positioned throughout the reserve's core territories. These motion-activated devices capture crucial behavioral data, recording everything from leopard hunting patterns to elephant migration routes. The information would inform conservation strategies and help maintain the delicate balance between tourism and wildlife protection that kept Timbavati financially stable. African lions represent the apex predators of the African savanna, with adult males weighing up to 250 kilograms and females reaching 180 kilograms. These social cats live in prides typically consisting of related females, their cubs, and one or more dominant males. Lions possess powerful jaw muscles capable of delivering bite forces exceeding 650 pounds per square inch, while their retractable claws can extend up to 38 millimeters in length. Stein and Davies located their target camera trap mounted 4 meters high in a massive marula tree near the reserve's eastern boundary. The device had recorded 847 wildlife events over 2 weeks, capturing valuable footage of a resident lion pride's territorial movements. Davies positioned himself beside their conservation vehicle 30 meters from the tree, while Stein prepared her climbing equipment. Using standard conservation safety gear, Stein ascended the marula's thick trunk with practiced efficiency. The camera's memory card contained weeks of crucial data that would contribute to the reserve's annual wildlife census. As she worked to disconnect the device's weatherproof housing, subtle movement below caught her attention. 6 lions emerged from the dense shade directly beneath the tree, where they had been resting during the morning heat. The pride consisted of 2 adult males, 3 females, and 1 subadult female, all now fully alert and staring upward at the unexpected intruder above them. Stein attempted to climb higher, but the branches became progressively thinner, unable to support her weight. Recognizing her precarious situation, she tried swinging to an adjacent tree using her safety line. The attempt failed catastrophically, as she missed her target branch and plummeted 3 meters, landing directly among the 6 lions on the hard-packed earth below. The largest male immediately pounced, his 240-kilogram frame crushing a rib cage upon impact. The alpha female simultaneously attacked her face, powerful jaws clamping down with devastating force. 2 other lionesses targeted her arms and legs, their claws raking through flesh and muscle tissue. The 4th lioness focused on her torso, inflicting massive internal damage, while the 5th attacked her back and shoulders. The 2nd male joined the coordinated assault, targeting her neck area with precision typical of experienced predators. All 6 Pride members participated in the simultaneous mauling, their natural hunting instincts triggered by the sudden appearance of prey within their immediate territory. Davies threw rocks and shouted desperately from the vehicle, but the entire Pride continued their relentless attack. The coordinated assault lasted 4 minutes before the lions retreated together, leaving Stein motionless on the bloodied ground. She succumbed to multiple organ failure and massive blood loss from the sustained group attack. Reserve Management launched an immediate investigation into the incident, reviewing safety protocols for equipment retrieval operations. The South African National Parks Authority implemented new guidelines requiring 2-person ground support teams for all elevated conservation work. If these wildlife encounters left you wanting more, click the next video on your screen for another shocking attack that will leave you speechless.